Well, hello everyone. This is Gene from CommerceBlend. Before we get started today, I just wanted to let everyone know we will be sharing the recording of today's session. So if you have any questions as we go through it, there's a Q&A tab at the bottom of the console. We highly encourage typing in any questions that come up as we go through the session. And anything we don't have time to get to today, we'll follow up with you afterwards via email. So for those of you who are not already familiar, CommerceBlend is a community of merchants and thought leaders within the ecosystem that are designed to give you a competitive advantage in growing your business. And we, with over 8,000 companies now in the e-commerce world, we are trying to identify companies we think that will have a great impact on your business, and looking for thought leaders who have something of real interest and value to share. So I'm very proud to present today Wendi Makuch from Fortel. And Fortel is, well, they have a fascinating story. They started back in 2007. Their founder entered his recommendation algorithm into a Netflix competition. And they were looking for a better way to rank their movie titles. And they may be among the best at doing this. Ken finished in the top 1% of 40,000 competitors, and then was inspired to apply a similar algorithm to e-commerce. So that's kind of how it started. And today's topic will be, what is smart commerce and how can smart commerce help you to increase your revenue in 2020? So without further ado, I'm going to hand things over to Wendi so she can walk us through this very fertile topic.
Great. Thank you, Gene. Nice to meet everybody in the virtual space here today. Can you see my screen now? Just want to make sure that the technology transfer was successful.
Yes, looks good.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for taking time out of a busy Friday. I love e-commerce and could talk about this all day long. Please let me know if you have any questions along the way. I'm Senior Solutions Expert. As Gene mentioned, I've been with Fortel 8.5 years. I apologize. My voice is not normally so husky. I'm coming off the tail end of a rather bad cold this week, but still excited to be here and to talk all things e-commerce. And if we don't get to your question today, feel free to reach out to me. I understand we'll be sharing this deck as well. So we're focused on all things e-commerce. We absolutely want to be focused on helping you grow your business and engage your shoppers. And we really think about this as turning browsers into believers. We want people to have a great experience on your site with your brand, and not just browse your site, but actually make purchases. And internally, we've been calling this the me economy, right? Because really the customer should be at the center of everything that you think and do with your business. And it's not just in the e-commerce space, it's any channel that they choose to engage with you. Really, they expect you to have put them in the center and to understand them. And every industry is shifting towards this customer-centric approach. It's not just e-commerce. We're watching it across many different industry segments. And this shift is from pushing products to creating really great experiences, because the way people buy has changed forever, right? It has to be personalized. Shoppers expect you to personalize the experience. It is absolutely omni-channel, right? It doesn't have to be just this one channel for how people buy anymore. They expect you to understand them in real time, and it needs to be simple, right? Getting rid of all of the barriers. And it's a global phenomenon in terms of those who are doing it right are making money, and those who aren't are losing money. And that customers expect you to know them, regardless of how they choose to engage with you, right? And there are going to be winners and losers. Although these quotes are a little bit dated now that it's 2020, all of this still holds true. These are some of the brands that we follow. We believe they're doing it right. And really the common thread from all of them is understanding that customers want an experience, that customers want to be recognized, and really have a great experience in whatever channel, with great recommendations, and ultimately be reminding them of the journey that they're on with you and your brand, and to reinforce the buying decision. And that recognize and recommend and remind is certainly where foretell falls into the picture. So we want to leverage everything that we know about your shoppers to engage with them across channel. And we think of this in three different buckets in terms of personalization, um, clienteling, and business intelligence for marketing. And the lowest of the low hanging fruit really falls into product recommendations. This is really where our roots are within Foretell. And that is, if you are not dynamically merchandising the on-site experience, you're leaving money on the table. Those personalized product recommendations. And what do we mean by that? It means that you and I could be looking at the same item, but see different items being recommended because I am new to your site and you are a repeat high value customer. We should have a different experience because the behaviors that we've exhibited are different. And we can take that same concept and weave content into the customer journey, as well as, I think at a really global rate, globally, our mission in life is to help shoppers find what they're looking for. And the site search experience is just an extension of taking what we already know to help shoppers find what they're looking for. The clienteling bucket takes all of this great knowledge, this rich knowledge that we have around understanding your catalog and how customers interact, and really empowering your teams. Anyone in a customer facing role can benefit from what we know about your business. And then the BI for marketing, this is a really unique opportunity to take a unique data set. That is, we understand your customers, we understand your products. We have tied the view data to your SKUs, to your customer IDs. So we can take that data and feed it into any BI tool that you may be using, because that's a unique missing data set from any other system that you may be extracting data from. So that's kind of the Foretell overview. But the smart commerce, right? Being smart about how you leverage and really meet as well as exceed customer expectations. Um, it is absolutely going to make you more money. It's also going to increase engagement. It's going to increase conversion. And I think about when our merchants, and this is a global deep dive across all of our customers and its different e-commerce platforms, different industries, different selling prices, we know personalization works. And the first two circles there, I really think of that as engagement. Excuse me. We know shoppers who use personalization look at more and they spend longer shopping. And it doesn't matter how they parachute it into your site. We know that we will engage them. And the conversion will go up for these engaged shoppers. And as a natural byproduct, as will revenue. So that was kind of the 40,000-foot view why personalization is important. I really wanted to spend the rest of the time showing you personalization in action. Um, and and I have lots of really great site examples, Deny Designs. I'm happy to share the technology if you're interested. This is a Shopify site. We're doing lots of things for them, but first and foremost, they have a massive catalog. So if I type in giraffe, if I can type while I'm talking here, this is the inline, really the inline search bar is how we refer to this, where you type experience. And this is Foretell, leveraging everything that's known. Every night we recalculate everything. And so understanding the wisdom of the crowd, that what people are looking at together, what people are buying together, all of that feeds into our machine learning and AI algorithms to decide what to do today. So my real-time behavior as I'm looking across these different items, this customer is also viewed based on me and what others have been looking at. People who looked at this also looked at these other things. So this real-time dynamic experience happens across the board. Let me explain Deny Design's business just a little bit because they have a rather unique catalog. They are a made-to-order company. And so their catalog is about 3.5 million SKUs because they have designers with They're designs that can be printed on about 4,500 different things. And so winnowing that down, if I like this design by this artist, I may like other designs that this artist has made. And Fortel is powering all of these different areas. If I like this design, taking those 4,500 different things and winnowing it down based on me and my interaction with the brand, I may like it. I bought duvets from them, so that makes sense that this is the first for me. Or a print or a shower curtain or another poster print, right? And then the normal kind of cross-sell recommendations. That is, people who buy this giraffe tapestry also buy these other things. So this is one example of how we're weaving personalization in seamlessly in the shopping experience. And let me go ahead and type in another word, Rose, and let me hit enter. Fortel is also handling the search results in all of these facets. So we are merchandising what appears here in the search results. And Rose is a pretty broad term because there's over 11,000 results. So let's help winnow down what it is that shoppers are seeing. So leveraging everything that we know to help shoppers find what they're looking for across this site. We can also take content in. And Bob's Red Mill is a great example. Before I dive into the content side of things, personalization can and should happen across the site. And we're doing that in spades for Bob's Red Mill. Most of you are probably familiar with this brand. Fortel is based in Portland, Oregon, as is Bob's Red Mill. You can buy their products in just about every grocery store across the US these days. And so this is a very much a branded experience for their most loyal shoppers, and content for them is really, really key. But we're weaving some product recommendations in throughout the experience in some really clever ways. First, I've been to the site many times. This recommended for you is based on me and my interaction with the brand. And as you can see, I'm not signed in. You don't have to be signed in for personalization to work. And because I've been to the site before, at the bottom of the page down here are recently viewed items by me. And I thought it would be kind of fun to compare and contrast. I have loaded up ahead of time an incognito window so that you can see if this is my first visit to Bob's Red Mill. The top sellers are the starting point. These are from last night's data poll. These are always trending. For them, it's a rolling 90-day top seller window. We can certainly adjust that for, as some merchants may need 120 days, other merchants may need 30-day top window sellers. And as you can see, because I'm in incognito, there are no other recommendations because I haven't been to the site before. Let me go look at one item. And just looking at one item, Fortel is doing a couple of things on that product page as well. We're weaving content in. We're doing content in a couple of different ways. That is, Fortel is deciding what recipes to show in addition to product recommendations. And there are product recommendations at the bottom of the page, the traditional cross-sell. The also viewed, right? Let's make sure that we're finding you, in this case, the right muesli. Now, if I go back to the home page, again, I'm still in the incognito mode, it flips to recommended for you. Right? And based on looking at muesli, Fortel's algorithms are thinking that maybe I'd be interested in these other things. So hopefully me popping back and forth between incognito mode and the mode here isn't going to lose anyone. Fortel's also powering the search experience. And this is really where I think things get fun. Bob's really focuses, and especially in the holidays, now that we're outside of the Q4 chaos, lots of people come to their site for recipes and blogs. So this is a Magento 2 site. This product feed is from their Magento site. They have two separate WordPress instances. And I think of blogs as being how they make what they make, and then recipes, how to use what they make. So we're weaving content into the search experience. And this is the inline search experience right when I type. And then when I hit enter, we're also weaving in recipes and blogs into the search results. So lots of different ways to weave content into the experience, right? Let's leverage everything that everybody's looking at. to really enhance the shopping experience for each shopper, right? With each click a shopper makes, we're deciding what to display with them. The next site I wanted to show you, similar to Bob's, a little bit simpler. This happens to be a distributor. They make all kinds of what I would say is crazy outdoor gear, a really expensive way to hurt yourself really fast in my book, but sure looks fun. And this happens to be a NetSuite front end, back end. Our technology is platform agnostic. This is the data feed, the product feed from NetSuite. This is their WordPress feed, right? So we're weaving content into the customer journey. For them, really important to weave content into the journey because they spend a lot of money going on site to produce beautiful videos and beautiful images because their stuff is kind of spendy. Just this board itself is over $1,000, $1,100. And so they want to make sure that you are understanding what it is that you're buying and that you know how to use it. And they'd be perfectly happy to have you go buy it at a distributor as they would to buy it from your site. So content is really important to them. So when I click on the Crossbreed 11-foot, this is a stand-up paddle and SUP, Fortel is also displaying related content in addition to product recommendations, right? So not only are we suggesting other items they should be looking at, we're suggesting other things they should be reading. And the third way that we're using content, we're using it in search, we're using it on the product page. I've pulled up this blog post, how to choose the right SUP. And you can see beautiful content. And at the bottom of this, we have shown other blog posts that you might be interested in reading, right? Based on what everybody else is reading, right? We're deciding other blog posts that I might be interested in. And this blog also happens to have some related products. So Fortel is dynamically merchandising content as well as products across the sales experience. And we've got some really, really happy customers. I just wanted to show you some of the stats from Slingshot. They were over the moon to see their blog usage explode with the incorporation of Fortel within their on-site shopping experience. They spend a lot of time and money, and what they used to see was about a 36-hour, maybe 48-hour life cycle to their content. They would post it, people would read it, and then it would collect cobwebs on the shelf. And what our algorithms brought to light was that content that may have been created 2 or 3 years ago still has value today. Because if I'm a newbie and I don't know how to stand up paddleboard, I need to read those intro to SUP blogs. And it doesn't matter if they were written 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they still hold true. One of the other areas that I wanted to show you really is our back end, right? We have an awful lot of information about your business. So sort of transitioning into and in a we're able to this is our platform, this commerce platform. We pull analysts, and so what we're at for Slingshot Sports is over the past year, the impact that Fortel has had on their business. This is not meant to replace Google Analytics. I think of this as the 40,000-foot view of what Fortel is doing for them. And I like to focus on a couple of the metrics, one of them being the engagement. And I think of time on site and pages per session, right? The green dot, these are shoppers who used Fortel throughout their shopping journey. And they could have used us in search. They could have used content recommendations on the blog or on the product page, right? Throughout the whole shopping experience. Shoppers who are engaging in Fortel are green. These are shoppers who see Fortel. You don't have to use Fortel. We're there to help create a robust and dynamic experience, but you don't have to actually click on us. But the difference in engagement, right, people who click on Fortel throughout the shopping experience, this is real data, right? They are spending significantly longer shopping on your site, which we know if they came in off of a product listing ad is sending really great signals back to Google. We know that these engaged shoppers convert at a much higher rate. Excuse me. And so showing you at a glance the value that Fortel is bringing you is really what this is meant to represent. We have a lot of insight to share with you about what we're seeing happen. And because Slingshot has content, we can show you the posts that people are looking at. So this winter wakeboarding retreat into the Philippines, right? This piece of content is one of the top 5 pieces being read. And here's other content that people might be interested in. So if someone in a customer facing role, I'm in customer support and I'm talking to someone about wakeboarding, right, in a remote location, right? This is just another way to engage with your customers. We see trends in your products. And so, by unique buyers, our algorithms are always paying attention to if one person buys 10 of these, that's really kind of less interesting than if 10 different people buy these items. So here are your true top selling items by unique buyers or by highest revenue or by most viewed, right? So showing you what we know about your business. This lowest converting report I love. I think of this as the why report. Why in the past 30 days was this board looked at 219 times, but nobody bought it, right? And this was looked at almost 200 times. I think of this as the why report. Why did someone land on this report? Is there something broken? Is the pricing off, right? It allows you to dig deeper as a merchant. We also have trends in your customers. So we know by sheer spend or by highest AOV who your best customers are, right? So allowing your team to be proactive about whom should they be engaging with today. Well, we also see people who are sliding away, right? That they've bought less by however much percentage year over year. Or these are people who have been on the website. We have some customers they have a subset of their teams start their day with this report. These are known shoppers. They don't have to be customers. These are known shoppers who have been on your site in the last whatever day, week, month, and they didn't actually buy anything, right? Or they haven't done anything in 6 months, or they have items in the cart. And if you use our wish list technology, you can certainly see if they have a wish list. And one of the fun things is that anywhere you see a customer, hopefully you've noticed there's this following button. And we have a shopper activity service, again, allowing you to be proactive that if some of my key customers are on the site, I want to know about it. I don't want to just know about it. I want to know what they've been doing. No surprise, I follow myself. So yes, right, within about a second, you get notified. So again, more ways to leverage what we know about your business to allow you to be proactive, to be smart about commerce and how you engage and whom you're engaging with. So the final little detail, there's all kinds of nuggets that I'd love to show you, is let me show you what a customer looks like in our back-end system. Ken happens to be our co-founder. He was referenced in the overview intro. He and Neil, our other co-founder, jumped into the Netflix competition so many years ago. And he really is a customer of Slingshot Sports, and he and his whole family kind of do these crazy outdoor sports. So it's kind of fun to see real data. He is a real customer. And the top third of the screen is really a quick snapshot of what we know about Ken, right? I kind of have my customer support hat on. And a quick snapshot of his overall spend, his AOV, his conversion rate. I think of the orders and sessions, the recency and frequency. And given all of this rich behavior we have about Ken, we have some ideas of some categories and things that he might be interested in. But our goal here is to visualize what we know about Ken. So we can see what products he's been looking at, as well as what blog content he's been reading, right? All indicators of what his next purchase may be. Excuse me. We know exactly what he's purchased. And in any of these places, you can certainly flip this to a more tabular format so you can see more data. If this is a B2B company, you probably want to know how many and when was the last time, what was the price paid. I'm going to keep it visual for now, right? And given everything that we know about Ken, we have some ideas of things, right? We want to arm your people to make them smarter, to help them know Ken better. This may be their second day on the job, but they're going to come across as a superhero here because they understand Ken and have some ideas of things that he might be interested in. And we've even baked our search product into the back end. So when I type in cross, and again, because we have content as well as products, we'll get a mix of products and content that Ken may be interested in. The final kind of idea that we talked about is clienteling. And we call it collaboration in the back end, but let me show you how it manifests itself within the front end of Slingshot. And not only do we have recommendations on product pages, but throughout the shopping journey, this recommended for you has been sitting here in the bottom left corner quietly. The little dot here means there's some new content since the last time. I'm not logged in now, but I was before, so it remembers that it's my Slingshot. So given what I've been looking at, we call this the intelligent tray, right? I can close out of it. I can access it at any point throughout my journey on the Slingshot website. So here are some products based on what I've been doing that I might be interested in. Here are some blogs that I might be interested in reading, right? Foretell is paying attention to everything that everybody's doing on the site, as well as me individually, and what it is that I've been looking at recently. This picked for you is a tab that appears when someone has used the collaboration or done the clienteling. Someone built me a board for some ideas of things that I might be interested in. That's what collaboration is about. I can go through and I can build a board. This is a board that I built for Ken. Let's go ahead and create a new board just so you can see what this looks like. I've saved a couple of things. I can search the catalog. We saw Ken was looking at the crossboard, so I can go through and I can drag in a couple. I know his wife Amy needs a new board. Maybe they also need to get a couple of the kites. So this is, let's see, ideas for Ken and Amy. So, this could be a thanks for your call. Here are the ones we reviewed. Whoops. Now you have to watch me type. Reviewed, let me know if you have any questions. And I can go through and say, Amy will love this, right? I can make notes. And when I hit publish, a couple of things happen. If I wasn't following Ken, I am now. So the next time he hits the site, right, I'm going to get a notification. When I hit publish, it actually creates this board and I can email or text or chat this link to Ken. So I'm going to put my Ken hat on and let me show you what that link does. So if I were Ken clicking on the link, it takes me to Slingshot into his board, and this is the board that I just published. And right now, of course, this is not a real world scenario. You don't normally click on your own boards, but I could go through and like or dislike things. And we're notified instantly, right? The system thinks I'm Ken. And I just liked and disliked a couple of things. So there's a real-time component to Foretell throughout the experience. I have been talking nonstop. So, Jean, do you have any questions for me as I've been blowing through this at a breakneck speed?
Well, first off, thanks for being a champion today and powering through despite loss of voice. As I mentioned earlier, it only enhances, I think, what you're saying. Even though you may be struggling, we are the beneficiaries. And a few moments that I just wanted to kind of highlight, just because either they were amusing or insightful. I think the intelligent tray, and there's so much about Foretell that is a differentiator against other, say, competitors in the space. But the intelligent tray really is something I've never seen that before, and also the fact that you can split the search results between the products and blogs, that you can have a blog which with you may also like other blogs, and add product recommendations into blog content. All of these things feel like it's part of that customer journey that is greatly enhanced by the Fortel platform. So the whole inline search bar is a beautiful thing. And the other thing, a couple of other moments that I had to sort of point out. One is recency and frequency. That went by kind of quickly, but that's something that was a good moment. I may have to borrow that phrase. And of course, just acknowledge that you created a board of boards, curated board of boards.
Right. Board of boards. That's great.
Two other things that that I wanted to point out. One is I can literally still taste Bob's Red Mill in my mouth at the moment. I had Bob's Red Mill oatmeal this morning. It's very, yeah, there it is. Bob's is obviously quite ubiquitous. And so, yeah, so I am similar a user. My average order value is not going to be up there like Ken's.
No. That's an awful lot of oatmeal.
That's a lot of grain to take in.
Right.
But one other thing for those that are with us today, just curious, and I don't know if this is something that's more custom or you could go into, but how does pricing work with Fortel?
Sure. No, thank you for that. And, you know, I totally forgot to show you there is the intelligent tray on Bob's Red Mill right throughout the shopping journey. What I love when our customers are thoughtful and embrace what it is that we're doing is they call it your pantry, right? When Slingshot calls it your slingshot, but if we know who
Right.
you are, we insert your name.
Custom that name, yeah.
So I love it when our customers, there is so much more that I could be showing you. So I'm showing extreme restraint for not diving into more examples. Pricing is really based on a couple of metrics. We are a data company. It is data-driven personalization. So how much data do you have? And the data comes in the form of how big is your catalog? How busy is your site? That's also a measure of how many API calls will your business represent to our services. What services do you want us? I've been kind of drinking from the fire hose here for you. I've been blowing all kinds of things out at you. Do you want everything? Or do you really want just product recommendations? Do you want us to weave content in, or is your blog not quite ready for that exposure level yet? Right. So pricing is really a factor of what do you want us to deploy? What's your technical environment? We certainly have plugins to all of the big platforms such as Magento and BigCommerce and Shopify and Viva and all the other ones that you would suspect, but it could be a custom homegrown system and we can still integrate. So what technology stack are we plugging into? Where is the source of truth? One of the things that it's more of a one-on-one kind of a demo, but we've actually integrated for Slingshot what we know about their business back into their NetSuite backend. So instead of going to our platform, we've brought what we know in the visualization into their backend, right? That's a really interesting concept. Do you want us to do that for you? Right? Is the source of truth an ERP or is it just the e-commerce space? So there's a lot of variables, but we try to break it down into what is it that you need today? Where are you going? Right? And a phased approach. It could be as little as call it $10,000 a year and up, right? There's all kinds of price points in between there and wherever it is that your business is at today. So we want to work with you to get to the status of a Bob's Red Mill, right, in terms of brand recognition.
Absolutely. I think that was very well summarized. A tricky question because there is essentially an algorithm to get to pricing.
Right.
Because there are so many factors involved. And so just to understand it clearly, so it can be integrated with an ERP or possibly with another analytics program, or not just with the e-commerce platforms?
Correct. And I don't normally show this in such a general overview, but this is how we think about the world. And I know that this is probably a little bit eye-popping in terms of complexity, but it's really just to show we can take data from anywhere. We have this open API, this extractor. Turns out we're really good at collecting, organizing, and learning from data. And we can take data from anywhere, from any of your systems. We may be pulling from the ERP, but displaying on the e-commerce platform, right? Where is your source of truth? Because it doesn't matter to us. And when we run it through our expert system, and then where do you want us to deploy, right? Certainly the front end shopping experience, but do you want us to empower your teams as well? And that may be back into your ERP or not. It may be using our platform. So we've got an open API to get data, and then we've got an open API to deploy or deliver what we know. And I didn't dive into the technology, but there's a lot of layers and levels of sophistication and complexity happening. But no, with each click a shopper makes, we're dynamically deciding what to merchandise to each of them. And every night we recalculate everything. Every view, every sale influences everything that we do across the board.
I'm glad I asked.
I told you I could keep going all day. Bring it.
Having met you in person, I know this is true.
So,
Well, this is fantastic. And Wendi, thank you again so much for powering through today and sharing all this with us. I think this is of great value to the community at large. If are there any final questions for anyone on the line today? If so, you can type it into the Q&A tab. If not, as I mentioned, we'll be sharing the recording of today's session via email. And if you're not a member already, please join the CommerceBlend community and look for invitations to future events and access to insightful resources, which will include a recording of today's session. So if there is nothing else, I just want to thank everyone for joining today. Wendi, thank you so much for the presentation and insights and inspiration, and have a great weekend, everybody.